I never expected to write much on the Old Testament. Despite being puzzled by the visions of Daniel, it was not an issue I held hope of resolving. But recent developments in a priorian optics, teaching the world a new way of seeing life, has suggested a resolution to the final kingdom problem as revealed by Daniel. The feat of iron in miry clay is democracy. The total power of the people mired down in the confusion of languages is what is represented by the miry clay. It arose, as we know, out of the totalitarian dictatorship of the divine right of kings, which, though overthrown by the iron will of the people, had to transform into democracy, as a practical necessity. Dan 2:31 Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. 32 This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. 33 His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. 34 Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. 35 Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. Normally these symbolic kingdoms are linked for actual kingdoms, but it is unlikely that such a prophetic dream would reference actual governments only, though doubtless these governments represented the symbolism of the prophecy. Gold equals God kings, a time when the king was God. Silver equals divine kings, a time when the king was a descendant of the gods. Brass equals emperors, a time when kings and emperors ruled as a right given to them by God. Iron equals revolution and the total power of the mob, a time when the people took power from their autocratic ruler. Miry clay equals democracy, a modification of direct democracy and the mob. Representative democracy. It ought to be remembered that it was by means of democracy that Jesus was condemned, even in the face of the dissenting will of the Roman governor. John 18 verse 37 Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Every one that is of the truth heareth my voice. 38 Pilate saith unto him, What is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews, and saith unto them, I find in him no fault at all. 39 But ye have a custom, that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will ye therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? 40 Then cried they all again, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber. John 19 verse 1 Then Pilate therefore took Jesus, and scourged him. 2 And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns, and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe. 3 And said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. For Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. 5 Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns, and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. 6 When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him, and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. 7 The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. Interestingly, it is said Barabbas was a robber. In the above passages, soldiers reflect the will of the rulers in their wanton cruelty. It is worth noting that it was by the law that the Pharisees thought it right to execute Jesus. But behind the condemnation of Jesus lay the power of the mob and their preference for a robber. The people wanted to be able to freeload more than they wanted the Messiah.